So as I said, my name's Cassie Skoprak. I'm a reference librarian here at the library. I've been a runner for probably about 10 years now. And as I was telling some of you before the program really started, I started off running with a program very similar to what we're going to be doing, the Couch to 5K program. And I'll get into the basics of that in just a minute. Right from the beginning, though, I do want to say that I am a librarian. And while I run, I'm in no way qualified as a trainer. So that's why we're following an established program. It's been around for a long time. There's been literally millions of people that have done it. So that's why we're following it this way. But also, if you have any reservations or any hesitations of any kind, so far as whether you're healthy enough, whether you're afraid of an injury, anything like that, like please talk to your doctor about that, because I definitely cannot give you advice. You'll see in most of the promotion for this that it's stated to be a virtual run club, and you might be kind of like, what does that even mean? So we did this last year, and I had planned it as an in-person thing, and then the pandemic hit literally right when we were starting. So we moved it completely virtually. We started a Facebook group, and it was for accountability. It was for posting information about the runs, for tips, that sort of thing. So it was fully virtual last year, and this year I hoped that we'd be in, a completely different situation, but we're not quite there. So a big aspect of it is still going to take place on, online. We still have that Facebook group that if you are on Facebook, I encourage you to join because you'll get a lot of good information there. And it's also going to be a good place to connect with other people that are doing the program along with you. But that being said, we are also doing one run together each week, and that takes place on Wednesdays from 5 to 5:45 in Wilcox Park. And I have two options for participants this year because we've had a lot of interest from people who are not runners, but they do want to work up to walking a 5K. So we have a few different plans. We have our Couch to 5K running plan. We have a beginner's walking plan for those that are really just starting to get into walking longer distances. And then we have one for people who are walking, but they're focused on trying to increase their pace and get a little bit more of a real workout out of it. So what is Couch to 5K? Well, it's usually called C to 5K, which is probably what I'm going to call it for the most part, but it is called Couch to 5K. It was created by Josh Clark in 1996. It's been used by, like I said, millions of people since then. And he sold the rights to C to 5K to an app called Zen Labs, and that's the app that we're going to be using as we go through this program. And I'll talk a little bit more about what that is and how to download it in a little bit as well. All right, so this is an 8-week program. It's half-hour workouts 3 times a week, so it's not a massive time commitment, which is part of the reason that it's really very popular. And ideally, you'll have some rest days between your workouts. It's totally fine if once in a while you can only squeeze your 3 workouts in on like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or since we're doing it on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever. But ideally, you try to work it out so you have at least one rest day in between your runs, just so you have really adequate time to recover. All right, the workouts follow the same basic structure. There's always a 5-minute workout or a 5-minute warm up in the beginning, and there's a 5-minute cool down at the end. And then for the core of the workout, you're alternating running and walking for specific periods of time. So you start out really slow where you're only running for, say, I think it's 60 seconds at a time, and then you walk for 1.5 minutes. But as the weeks progress, you're slowly increasing your running time while you're decreasing your walking time. So you build up that stamina. All right, so this is a sample of the plan that we're following. So you'll see that, again, we're starting off fairly slowly with the jogging and with the walking. And when I say that, when I say slow, I don't mean that it's going to be necessarily easy too, because if you are brand new to running, even running for 60 seconds at a time can be difficult. So just be aware, like, it's not going to be a walk in the park, but it shouldn't be too difficult that you feel like quitting every day. Let's say I have a walking example. So as I said, there's 2 different walking plans if you choose to go that route. This is sort of the beginner's walking style, where again, it's the 3 workouts and you have 2 kind of shorter workouts each week, and then 1 where you're increasing your mileage, which is that 3rd one. All right. And then the intermediate one, like I had said too, it's working on pacing, and this follows very closely the other C to 5K one, the running one, because you have your 5-minute warm up, your 5-minute cool down, and in between you're alternating. Instead of running, you're alternating walking and like speed walking to build up your stamina that way. And if anybody is interested in doing the walking part when we meet on Wednesdays in the park, you're totally invited. Because this is mainly a running club, I'll be running along with those who want to do that. So it's possible that you would be walking on your own. I just want to let everybody know ahead of time. But if we do have other walkers that come, then you'll have kind of your own group to go along with. Does that make sense?
Obviously, if we can't keep up with you, we can drop back and.
Absolutely. I'll be going. I mean, I am not a fast runner.
Okay.
I'll be going on the slow side. All right. So this is the app. So I know that one of you had said that that you had seen that there was a paid app, and there is one that you would have to pay for. But if you look on either your Android or your iOS device, you should see this one. And this is the free version. So it offers everything you're going to need for the purposes of this program. And I would really recommend downloading it if you do have a phone that you can bring along with you on your runs, because it keeps track of the time for you. It's going to tell you when it's time to run, when it's time to walk, when it's time for your cool down. So you don't have to fight with a second hand on your clock or a timer or anything like that. So I'd recommend using that one. Does anyone have any questions so far? Good. All right. Again, if you do use any sort of device while you're running, I would recommend using another app. You don't have to use it all the time, but so there's apps such as Strava, which is here, and also Runkeeper. And what they do that C to 5K doesn't do is they'll keep track of your distance for you. They'll keep track of your pace, which is really, I think, important, especially when you're starting out running. You can really tire yourself out if you're trying to run too fast, and it's a good idea to keep track of what your pace is. So if you have something you can download an app, I recommend Strava. I use that one, and it's a good way to keep track of exactly how far you're going as well. It also helps you map your runs too. If you're running at home or something, it'll help you come up with places that you can run that will fulfill your distance and everything. All right, and as I said, we do have a Facebook group that a lot of the information is going to be on there, so I recommend joining that. That's where I'll be posting the workouts. I'll post videos, information on stretching, shoes, little tips that I have along the way. And again, it's just a place for us to keep each other motivated. A little bit about our group runs. So again, we're going to be meeting weather permitting. If ever I need to cancel one of the group runs, then I'll probably post it. I'll post it on the Facebook group, of course, and then I'll update on our calendar at the library as well through our website to say that we're going to be canceling it. But hopefully weather will be good and we'll be able to meet. We'll meet at the fountain and we'll start promptly at 5 o'clock. Okay.
Sorry, when you say fountain, do you mean the one right near the library or the one farther away?
The one right near.
Okay.
The one right near by the Esplanade and stuff.
And do we just run through the park, Cassie? We're just going to do laps?
Yeah, so yeah, we're going to start with doing laps in the beginning. As we progress through, because we'll be doing more running, we'll cover further distances. We might move to, going up like High Street or going down towards Pawcatuck. We'll take some other routes at that point, but at least for the beginning, we'll be running in the park. Which brings me to my next point, that you will need to have a mask with you. You don't need to wear it the entire time. Running with a mask really isn't fun, but because we are running on sidewalks, there may be other people. I would like everybody to have it on their neck at least, so if we're passing people within 6 feet, we can put it over our face really quickly. It's just kind of a requirement of the library. Along with that, when you come, bring some water, because we don't have the water fountains accessible right now due to COVID, and also just make sure that you're wearing like appropriate attire, something comfortable to run in. And keep keep in mind the weather as well, because especially once you really start running, once we progress, I think they say that dress as though it's like 20 degrees warmer than it actually is, because your body does really warm up, and you don't want to overheat. So just keep that in mind as well. Think about anything else on that. When we do our group runs, you are welcome to have your app or whatever app, whether it's the C2 5K or Strava or whatever else you want to use. But I will be leading those group runs, so I'll be telling you when we need to run, what we need to walk. So you don't necessarily have to have it with you if you don't want. Okay, and I just want to say, really listen to your body. This is a pretty, it's a fairly stringent program. We have our 3 workouts a week, but there's nothing that says you absolutely need to follow that to a T. So if you're feeling like you are fully exhausted, if you're so sore that you can't move, take a rest day. If you're afraid of an injury, don't push yourself, like make sure you take a rest day. And even if it's just progressing a little bit faster than what you're really comfortable with, you can repeat workouts, you can even repeat weeks, like that's totally fine. So I just want to make sure nobody injures themselves. Again, we are pushing ourselves. You should be uncomfortable as we're doing the program, but you shouldn't be injuring yourself. All right, and so this is an 8-week program. Yep, we're going to be ending. We end technically the week before June 2nd, I believe. Anyway, we should be ending right around June 2nd. And that's great because that's the date that the Westerly Track and Athletic Club, they have fun runs, which are free runs that they have down near Misquamicut in the summer. And so each Wednesday they have these starting on June 2nd, and they'll have a 5K option or a 1K or 1 mile option for those that want to do that. And like I said, it's completely free to take part in those, and they do keep track of the times and they'll post them. So it's a really fun free race to take part in, and it could be your first 5K that you run. So it's very exciting. That is basically it. That's all that I have. Does anybody have questions, something I didn't cover or that you want more information about?
So the date next Wednesday, is that like day 1 of the program?
That's day 1, yeah. And so I'm going to, if you do join the Facebook group, again, I'm going to be posting the full workouts on there. And I believe that when I put it together, I did it Wednesday through Wednesday as opposed to like Monday through Sunday for the week, since we'll all be starting at that first workout. For the first few weeks too, most of the workouts throughout the week are exactly the same too. So if you wanted to jump the gun, if you wanted to get started, a couple days before, you totally can. I think I have some questions in the chat, so bear with me. So Jennifer's asking if I don't have a smartphone, can I use a timer or stopwatch? Absolutely can. So yes, there's no requirement to take part in the Wednesday group runs. If you want to do this fully virtual and do it on your own, you totally can too. Again, that's why I really wanted to have that Facebook group so that we can all kind of touch base there, even if we're not all meeting in person on Wednesdays. So I definitely encourage that.
Oh, can anybody run during the day, in the morning? Any group people, or do you guys all work full time?
I work full time, but my schedule is kind of flexible depending on what I have to cover or write about. So sometimes.
Okay.
I would check if you could. I mean, I don't mean to keep like pushing this Facebook group either, but I think that we'll probably have many more people on there than we do today in this meeting, because I know a lot of people weren't able to make it today. So that's totally something that you could post in there as well and see if anybody wants to do runs with you during the day.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this is the only time I work the night on Wednesdays and I have a break at that time. So this is really the only time I could run.
Okay.
Alrighty, so I think, that's about all I have, pretty quick. If anybody does have any questions as it goes along, again, we can have that Facebook group. But you have my information as well. You should have it from when I sent out the invite. Email is cscobrak@westerlylibrary.org, or you can give me a call here at the library as well. I'm here every day of the week, so, well, except for the weekends. Alrighty.
So when do we start this? Next Wednesday is our first
Next
night,
Wednesday.
or should we sign up for the Facebook before then?
You can sign up for the Facebook immediately. Yeah, I'll start posting a few things probably tomorrow. So just kind of getting us ready to start.
Okay,
I'll put reminders about Wednesday on that too. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you. Those of you that can make it.
nice
If
to
not-
meet everybody.
You too.
Alrighty. Okay, have a great night, guys.